Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Unfog with Dr. Atahar Parveen. Today we are going to discuss the biology part of Hstr 2015 question paper. There are a total of 40 questions. Okay, today I'll discuss the first 20 questions and a part 2 continuation video will be uploaded for the next 20 questions. So please tune in with us for the entire video. Let's begin with our class. The first question is, most light sensitive part of the photosynthetic machinery is, and the options are given as PS1 complex, PS2 complex, carbon fixation and the chloroplast division. So before we solve this, we need to understand what this term light sensitive means. So light sensitive means even in the presence of the smallest wavelength of light, that specific photosynthetic machinery gets activated. It starts working at that wavelength of light. So the first PS1 complex we have here, it gets activated in the presence of 700 nanometers of wavelength of light. And the PS2 complex gets activated in the presence of 680 nanometers of wavelength of light. Carbon fixation, if you remember, it is a very important step in the Calvin cycle. It is also known as the light independent process or the dark reaction. Now from this name itself you can conclude that this carbon fixation does not require light for its working. So let's consider it as 0. Okay. Next option is chloroplast division. So chloroplast division means the cell organelle chloroplast will replicate and divide during the cell division. Now it is nowhere related to the photosynthetic machinery, right? So we will ignore this option, chloroplast division. Now we have to know this point that photosynthetic machinery is constituted by 3 subparts. These are PS1, that is photosynthetic complex 1, photosynthetic complex 2 and electron carriers. Now these electron carriers will only help in the transfer of electrons. They will not absorb any wavelength light. So now we'll consider PS1 complex and PS2 complex. Now we said that PS1 complex absorbs light of wavelength 700 nanometers and PS2 complex absorbs light of wavelength 680 nanometers. Therefore, the most light sensitive part will be the PS2 complex 680 nanometers and therefore PS2 complex is our answer. Next question is, genetic dwarfs are often deficient in. Okay, and the options are given as auxins, abscisic acid, gibberellins and cytokinin. Now in the first option, auxins, if there is a lack of this plant hormone, then the nutrient supply isn't reaching the plants. So the chances of fungal attack in plants increases and diseases like falling of crops happens. Falling of crops and powdery mildew. Powdery mildew. And in the abscisic acid, so what happens is in the deficiency of abscisic acid hormone, there is a reduced seed dormancy. So what seed dormancy means? It means the incapacity of viable seeds. Viable means which have the capacity of germinating to germinate even under favorable conditions. So even the germinating capacity seeds do not germinate under favorable conditions. Now this seed dormancy is necessary because it allows and helps the seeds to overcome the periods that are unfavorable for seedlings, and it also helps in dispersal of seeds through unfavorable environment. So the deficiency of abscisic acid causes reduced seed dormancy. Now, deficiency of gibberellins plant hormone results in a severe dwarfism. And the deficiency in a plant hormone cytokinin results in the slow growth of shoots. See, there's a difference between severe dwarfism and slow growth of shoots. In dwarfism means the plant will not grow at all. It will remain short in height or it will be dwarf in height. But in a slow growth of shoots, the shoot of the plants will grow. They will not remain dwarf. But this growth will be very slow. Okay. Now he is asking in the question about genetic dwarfs, right? So the answer is option 3, gibberellins, whose deficiency causes severe dwarfism. The next question is, salinity in soil is caused by. The options are given as excess addition of rainwater, excess leaching, rapid evaporation of surface water, or accumulation of soluble minerals in the soil. So what does this salinity in soil mean? So salinity in soil means the increase in the concentration of salts in the soil. So what causes this salinity in soil? Like dry climates which lead to the low rainfall and excessive salts are not flushed or washed from the earth. Then poor drainage or waterlogging also causes salinity. Then if we irrigate the crops with the salt-rich water, then the soil becomes saline. And also farmers use chemical fertilizers sometimes, right? Even this causes salinity in soil. So from these 4 given options, which one causes the salinity in soil? Now, excess addition of rainwater, it will not cause salinity because that water will wash off all the excess soluble salts. So, this is the wrong option. Excess leaching. Leaching means if we add a lot of water to the soil, all of the important mineral nutrients, they get washed away. So, that is called leaching. Now, leaching is the complete opposite of salinity here, right? So, this is also the wrong option. Then we have rapid evaporation of surface water. Even this does not cause salinity in soil. Now, next, 4th, we have accumulation of soluble minerals in the soil. That is what we read in the definition, right? The definition said the increase in the concentration of salts in soil, right? So, increase means accumulation only. Accumulation of soluble minerals in the soil will cause salinity in the soil. So, the 4th option is the right answer. Next question we have is, climax community is in the state of. Option 1 is given as equilibrium, option 2 non-equilibrium, option 3 abrupt change, and option 4 change. So, what does this climax community mean? The answer lies in the definition of climax community itself here. So, the definition means it is the ecological communities in which the populations of plants or the population of animals, they remain stable. Okay, so they are in equilibrium with each other. So, now from the definition, you must have known what the answer is, right? So, the option is option 1, equilibrium. Climax communities are always in the state of equilibrium, and that is a fact which we all have to remember. Next question. The most diversified communities on earth is option 1, temperate grasslands, option 2, tropical evergreen rainforest, Option 3, tropical deciduous forests. And option 4, temperate forest. It is actually option 2, tropical evergreen rainforest, which have the most diversified communities on earth. Next question we have is, the decomposition rate is high in. Option 1 is warm temperatures and dry conditions. Option 2 is low temperature and moisture conditions, low temperatures and dry conditions. And option 4, warm temperatures and moisture conditions. The decomposition rates are actually high in warm temperatures and moisture conditions. So the option matching with our 2 points is the fourth option, which is warm temperature and moisture conditions. So option 4 is our answer. So the next question, antirachitic factor is found in. So antirachitic factor, it is actually that component which is used to cure rickets. Option A, vitamin A. Option 2, vitamin C. Option 3, vitamin D. And option 4, vitamin E. It is actually vitamin D, which is the antirachitic factor, which is used to cure the rickets disease. So the option 3 is our right answer. Next question, the adulterants that adulterators use to increase the lactometer reading by maintaining the density in milk is option 1, benzoic acid, option 2, salicylic acid, option 3, ammonium sulfate, and option 4, soap. So adulterant means some kind of foreign material which is not supposed to be actually used in any kind of substance. Like we have milk. One of the, like for example, I'll give you one of the common adulterant in milk is water. They add water in the milk to increase the quantity of milk. Okay, so they can sell more amount of milk, right? So the most common adulterant example that I can give you is water. But here he is asking, give that adulterant. But here he is asking to name that adulterant which is used to increase the lactometer reading. Lactometer reading means in milk we have lactose, right? So that lactose, it's actually the milk sugar which can be found in milk. Okay, so in order to increase that reading of lactose in the lactometer, they use one sort of an adulterant. So using that chemical, we can also maintain the density of milk. Like if we add water in the milk, it becomes a bit thin, right? It is not having the usual milk density. But here what happens, if we use that adulterant, it will increase the lactose reading in the lactometer and it will also maintain the density of the milk. So that adulterant is actually ammonium sulfate. So the ammonium sulfate will increase the lactometer reading, maintaining the density of the milk. Next we have the absence of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere leads to one of the following. The options are given as the Earth's temperature would become 0, the Earth's temperature would increase, there would be no global warming, the Earth's temperature would remain constant. So, these greenhouse gases are actually also known as thermal blanket of the Earth. Thermal blanket, as the name suggests, blanket means it keeps our body warm, right? Thermal means heat. So these greenhouse gases are like a blanket of heat around the Earth. So if you remove this blanket, then the temperature of the Earth would fall to negatives and 0 degrees, right? So the Earth's temperature would become 0 is the right answer, because in the rest of the other options it is either increasing, or there is no global warming, or the temperature is remaining constant. Greenhouse gases are necessary to maintain the warm temperatures on Earth. These temperatures that we have on Earth are important for the survival of all living organisms on Earth. And if we remove these greenhouse gases, then the temperature of the Earth would fall to 0 degrees and negative temperatures. So option 1 is the right answer. The next question we have is, one of the following is not a limitation of ecological pyramids. Please keep in mind he is asking which is not a limitation. Okay. And the options are given as option 1, saprophytes have got no place. Option 2, detritus food chain is not considered. Option 3, ecological pyramids do not provide any clue to seasonal and diurnal variations. And option 4, food chains and pyramids rarely have more than 4 or 5 trophic levels. Actually, all of these options 1, 3 and 4, these options are actually the limitations of ecological pyramids. Saprophytes have got no place in ecological pyramids. Ecological pyramids also do not provide any clue to seasonal and diurnal variations, and food chains and pyramids rarely have more than 4 or 5 trophic levels. These points are actually the limitations of ecological pyramids. The second option, which is detritus food chain is not considered, is not a limitation of ecological pyramids. Any type of food chain can be represented in the form of an ecological pyramid. And so option 2 is the right answer. The next question is, one of the following sequences correctly describes the cell cycle phase. So, if we take a vague look at these 4 options, then we realize that it is talking about the mitosis, right? So, what happens in mitosis? We have one parent cell which is diploid, and this will give rise to 2 daughter cells which are also diploid, okay? But in meiosis, what happens? This diploid parent cell will not give rise to diploid daughter cells, but it gives rise to haploid or N daughter cells. Okay, this case is for meiosis. And this is for mitosis. Now, because these options are very confusing, we will not look at these 4 options, but we will write down our own correct sequence and match our sequence with any of these 4 options, and the one which matches will be the right answer, right? So now let us write down the correct sequence. In mitosis, first phase that comes is the G0 phase. In this G0 phase, the cell is in the state of rest. Then after G0 phase, we have the G1 phase. In G1 phase, the cellular contents like cytoplasm, they get duplicated for the cell division. Then next we have is S phase. In this S phase, each of the 46 chromosomes that are present in the nucleus of the cell, these get duplicated. Then after S phase, we have the G2 phase. In that G2 phase, there are double checks that takes place. Double checks means if there are any errors in the duplication of the chromosomes, those errors will be corrected. So these corrections occur in the G2 phase. Then after G2 phase, we have the mitosis process. And after this mitosis process, there is one parent cell. That parent cell which is diploid will give rise to diploid daughter cells. So this is the correct sequence of the cell cycle of mitosis. So let's see if our sequence matches with any of these options. So the first we have is the G0 phase. The G0 phase is present only in option 3. So option 3 can only be the right answer. Let's make further verifications. After G0 phase, we need to have G1 phase. Okay, it's there. After G1, we have S phase. Okay, it's there. After S phase, we have G2. After G2 phase, we have the mitosis. So option 3 is the right answer. The next question is, the function of lysosomes in plant cells are assumed by. The first option is Golgi complex, second option endosome, third option vacuole, and fourth option peroxisomes. So the functions of lysosomes are actually assumed by the cell organelle peroxisomes. So the next question is, the hormone which is secreted by the intestine, the delta cells of pancreas and the stomach is. And the options are given as option 1 gastrin, option 2 cholecystokinin, option 3 somatostatin, and option 4 secretin. So we need to find out one common hormone which is secreted by these three organs of our body. So intestine basically secretes hormones like gastrin and somatostatin. Delta cells of pancreas secrete hormones like somatostatin, and the stomach secretes hormones like renin, gastrin and somatostatin. Now if you look into it, the somatostatin is the common hormone which is secreted by all these three organs of our body. So option 3 somatostatin is the right answer. So the next question we have is, prions are composed of option 1 only DNA, option 2 only RNA, option 3 only glycoprotein, and option 4 both DNA and RNA. So prions, these are actually abnormally folded infectious proteins, okay, and these do not have DNA or RNA. These two are absent. Basically nucleic acids, these are absent in the prions. So now if you look at the options like only DNA, only RNA, both DNA and RNA, these get cut out because these are not present in the prions. But like I mentioned earlier, these are abnormally folded infectious proteins, right? So prions are composed of only glycoproteins. So option 3 is the right answer. Now next question. The organism which is estimated to produce 1/4 of atmospheric oxygen is option 1 protozoa, option 2 anabaena, option 3 euglena, and option 4. So the next question is, the organism which is estimated to produce 1/4 of atmospheric oxygen is. So option 1 is protozoa, option 2 is anabaena, option 3 is euglena, and option 4 diatoms. So it is actually option 4 diatoms which produce 1/4 of the atmospheric oxygen. Now next question. Astigmatism occurs due to. So what is astigmatism? So it is kind of an eye disorder which occurs when the cornea or the lens has a different shape than the normal shape. Okay. So let's look into the options. And option 1 is loss of elasticity of the lens. No, we are talking about the shape of the lens or cornea. Option 2, deformity of eyeball. Wrong answer. Option 3, increase of intraocular tension. Wrong option. And then we have fourth option, which is uneven curvature of the cornea. So uneven curvature or uneven shape, these can be used synonymously. So option 4 is the right answer. The next question is, identify the cattle breed which yields high quantity of milk. Option 1 is Gir, option 2 is Sindhi, option 3 Deoni, and option 4 Sahiwal. So Sahiwal is the cattle breed which yields high quantity of milk. The next question, germplasm theory of organic evolution was proposed by. So option 1 is given as Weismann, option 2 Lamarck, option 3 De Vries, and option 4 Darwin. So it was actually the scientist Weismann who gave the germplasm theory of organic evolution. Now next question we have, the term that defines the formation of comparable external body parts with comparable bone structures but having different functions in different vertebrates is. Option 1 is given as missing links, option 2 vestigial structures, option 3 analogous structures, and option 4 homologous structures. Now he's talking about those external body parts which have comparable or similar bone structures, but the functions of those bone structures are different. So such structures are called as the homologous structures. Homologous structures, as the name suggests, homo means same, right? So these have same structure or comparable structures, but they have different functions. Such are known as homologous structures. The next question we have is, the stages of human ancestry is given below. Identify the correct sequence. Now these 4 options will not look into them. We'll write down our own correct order and match our order with those 4 options and see which one is matching. Okay. So the first one is Ramapithecus. Then after Ramapithecus came the Australopithecus. After Australopithecus, we have Homo habilis. After Homo habilis, we have Homo erectus. And after Homo erectus, we have Neanderthals. And after Neanderthals, we have the Homo sapiens or the modern day man. So this is the actual order of the human ancestry, but here in these 4 options he has not mentioned Ramapithecus and Australopithecus anywhere. So we'll go to the third position in our human ancestry, which is the Homo habilis. And Homo habilis can be first seen in option 1 and option 3. So automatically option 2 and 4 are wrong answers. The next, according to our order, comes the Homo erectus. So the Homo erectus in option 1 and 3, it can be seen in option 3. After Homo habilis, Homo erectus is coming. So the option 1 again becomes the wrong answer. So now let's verify if the remaining order is correct or not. According to this, Homo neanderthalensis comes next. So we have written Neanderthals here. So they can be used synonymously. It's the same thing. So after this, we have the Homo sapiens. Yes, we have Homo sapiens here also. So option 3 is the correct order. So that's it for today's class. So till the next class, keep learning. Meet you all soon. Bye.